Hello and welcome to Friday Fun. Just after NAMM, I think my mind is clear enough to be able to tackle looking at a synth again. And I thought I would try a couple of digital synths because we've had a lot of analog. I think the last thing, well actually I reviewed the Argon 8, which was a digital synth. But Hydrasynth got a lot of love at NAMM, and I thought I'd put it up on the table and see what it was capable of. And I've also got the Delta CEP, Radikal Technologies Delta CEP here, which they haven't quite asked for back yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Now I've reminded them I've still got it. This is a primarily digital synthesizer. In fact, this voice, I believe, is in digital mode because it's got an analog filter, and I think everything else is DSP, if I remember correctly. Forgive me if that's wrong. So, what have I got set up? Well, I've got this patch here, and this is just coming out stereo out into the stereo in of the Delta CEP because it's got a stereo input which is actually going via its own effects. I did try and take the MIDI out of that into here and figured if I could do that, but it meant I'd have to keep changing MIDI channels and it didn't quite work, so I just bung the key step, which is now there is a key step pro, so all my slips of the tongue have actually resulted in something actually happening even though I didn't know about it. I've just got MIDI out here and I'm running the sequencer, so if I press a note on here and then I've just got this. So what's that's actually doing, it's got a morph sequence in here with the interpolator. I don't actually know what's going on there. I'm afraid I can't be more specific than that, but I've also got the output of the envelope coming into a mod input, which I can also do some funky stuff with as well. So really, I'm just getting a stereo out. So stereo out of here into stereo out of here, and then stereo out of that into the mix. So the whole thing is sort of self-contained. There's no mixer involved. And of course the effects are nice on this. I wonder if I turn them all off, if that's possible. Is there a way to turn all the effects off? I can't remember if there is on this. I think there might be. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay in here as well. But, and I've also got the strip in play, and the strip can be used on the Hydrasynth as a sort of separate voice, so I can be I mean, obviously I can't play it very well, but it is quantized, but only chromatically, so it makes it, I'd have to practice a bit more, but you do get the ability to fade that voice in, although at the same time that will bring the modulation in on the voice. I haven't programmed it up very carefully, but I just thought this is quite nice, so I'll do a Friday Fun Synth Jam based on this. So this again is all digital. Here's one thing I would have liked. I would have quite liked to be able to route the keyboard of this. If there was some way that I could actually sort of say only play the internal voice with this much of the key, then I could play that with this, but this isn't designed to be a master keyboard, so it's pretty, you know, I mean, I could use, in fact, you may have seen on NAMM, there's the Sipario, this little intelligent MIDI router. There's now Sipario expanded on the way, which would have worked, but it would have complicated the situation a little bit more. I had local off on here and then had different patches for routing stuff. Anyway, let's forget about that. Let's just play something. So here we go. So I can change the voices. Hit the drive a bit harder. We've got a weird LFO modulating the noise. To the Newman there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my mod matrix in here, and the CV out is coming into the input and triggering the negative filter cutoff. So one thing I can't do is I can't adjust any of the knobs on this while I'm doing this, which is a real shame. But when it's in this morph mode, it sort of disables everything apart from the master volume, which is a shame. But anyway, all of those things aside, I hope you've enjoyed this. That was the Friday Fun featuring the ASM Hydrasynth and the Delta CEP A plus a bit of Arturia, and all of which have been reviewed on the site. So take care and enjoy. I'm going to play out with a bit more.